Oh. Oh. It's so hot. I feel like I'm dying. I literally have to pour water on myself because otherwise I'm going to die in this car. It is so hot out here. So I'm sorry, but it has to be done. I'll probably have to do it again by the end of the video. The good news is that you dry off really quick because we're out here in LA. It's a dry heat, right? I will say that after being in Maryland for a week, I'm sorry for not uploading any videos in a week, by the way. I was in Maryland, like I just said. Wow, that really helped. I feel really good. Wherever you are right now, if you're hot, pour water on yourself like I just did. It's very, very nice. I was in Maryland for the week, and I will take LA 90 degrees over Maryland 80 any day. Because at least here, you're dry, you're dry. You don't, it's not, so basically that's actually kind of what's so dangerous about the dry heat is that you don't feel yourself sweating because it just dries right off. It wicks right off of you. So your brain doesn't say drink water because you don't think you're losing water, right? I feel like this doesn't make any sense. It makes sense. Look it up. So when you're in the humidity, you have the opposite problem because you're sweating and sweating and sweating, but it's not doing anything because the air is already so saturated around you that it's not helping, and you basically just boil to death. That's why wet bulb temperature, look that up, because in 2050, that is going to be your cause of death. I think that I didn't pour any on my arms, so now my torso is cold, but my arms are hot, so I'm gonna do my arm. Excuse me. Oh, that's nice. That is good stuff. Can you see it? Here we go. Oh, God. Oh, mama. Yes. Oh, don't worry. Like I said, there's 17% humidity, so it'll dry probably by the time I finish this video. Okay, so, yes, a little bit of an update on the situation with my now ex, sadly, and her dad. The three of us, well, really the four of us, because this includes Phil's wife, decided that it would be best if all of us sort of separated from each other and took a little break from each other, basically. And I feel a little bad because I pretty much just, I feel like I destroyed a whole family, you know? But I think that I don't want to even get into it because I'm leaving that in the past, right? The reason why I say this is because I started dating somebody new. I started dating a new girl. And she's fine. I mean, I think it's just one of those things where, you sort of just need somebody to fill the time. I kind of had her on deck, if that makes sense. You sort of got to have people warming up in the bullpen, because if you don't, then you're just dumb, because every relationship is going to end. Trust me. And if it doesn't, it should. Every relationship that doesn't end is a failure, because look at any married couple. Look at any couple who's been married for even 5 years. They probably kind of hate each other. And that's because human beings are not supposed to be with somebody for that long. They're just not. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason we did it for so many years is because, everybody just shacked up with the first person they found at the bus stop because they wanted to get a credit card. So anyway, we, started having a decent enough time. And she has this cat. I don't want to say the name of the cat or the person because I'm trying to, I don't like to rope people from my real life into my online life. But basically, I think I explained this in the video where I talked about my ex eating her own dog. When you date somebody and they have a pet, you have to pretend to like the pet. That's sort of the way that you're way in. If you don't like the pet, it's over. Cats are not necessarily my favorite animal. that's probably stingrays, but they're okay. I don't hate them as much as dogs. The problem with this cat is that this cat basically is a dog, because he's a little rascal. He's always, he plays fetch, which is kind of crazy. I've never seen a cat play fetch before, but this one does. And he's very bitey, and he's very clawy. So one night I was sitting on her sofa with her, and I was on my laptop because I'm a content creator. I gotta stay abreast of what's going on online. So, I was sort of checking my stats and all this, and all the graphs are going like this, which is good. So I'm happy. And the cat came over, and this is one of the, I think this was one of the first nights that I had ever gone over there. So I'm sort of pretending to like the cat, I'm like, oh, he's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I feel nothing towards this animal. I've talked about that many times. And the cat starts to sort of teethe at the top of my laptop. He's kind of going, head butting it. And I'm not, she's not telling the cat to stop. So I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. I guess cats do this. I never had a cat, so I don't know any of these things. And I guess, this is sort of where the controversy is with this particular thing that happened, because you could argue maybe I should have done something, but again, it's not my cat. So if you ask me, basically, I wake up the next morning, the screen is cracked completely. And it's got all the the colored bars. Got the colored bars. So the screen is kaput. And I text her and I say, your cat broke. I think your cat, remember when the cat was, sort of messing around with my laptop? He broke it, basically. And at first she was like, oh my gosh, really? Oh, that sucks. Didn't say I'm sorry, which I guess should have been a red flag. So I go over there and, I say, yeah, that I'm going to have to get a new laptop. And she's like, well, did you learn your lesson? And I was like, huh? What are you talking about? Did I learn my lesson? She says about not letting him, mess with your stuff. Did you learn your lesson? And I said, are you serious? Did I learn my lesson? Did you learn your lesson about making sure that your demon cat doesn't destroy people's things? When are you going to learn that lesson? And that's the reason why I tell this story, because I would later come to realize that this is merely a pit stop on a long road trip of this exact thing happening over and over and over again. What she'll do is, every time she walks in the house, she just walks in, leaves the door open, no urgency. She'll shut it eventually, but she just walks in, and the cat, of course, comes right up to her because, the cat's happy that she's home. Did I already say the cat acts more like a dog? I don't think I said that. The cat is very dog-like. Yeah, I think I did say that, actually. The cat is very dog-like, and that means that I don't like the cat as much, because I hate dogs and I tolerate cats. So this cat, I am just below the threshold of tolerating, and I'm sort of verging into hatred. But it's well, now I hate the cat because he ruined my laptop. And but also I sort of had to get it. I think I'm gonna get one with the new M3 processor. So it's gonna set me back a couple of shekels, but it's okay. The story has a happy ending because I'm gonna get a nice computer. But don't tell her that, because I'm still acting mad about it. So she'll walk in, and leave the door open and la la la. And I'd say 7 out of 10 times the cat immediately walks out of the house. And she does not notice. The first time, I didn't even say anything because I thought maybe she was so blasé about it that I thought maybe the cat's just allowed to go outside. I don't know. Minutes go by. I'm pretty sure it was a full minute before she looks around and says, where's... I don't want to say the name of the actual cat. Where's Bing Bong? I guess it doesn't matter what the cat's name is. Where's the cat? And I'm like, well, he went outside. You left the door open. He just walked outside. And she was like, why didn't you say anything? And in retrospect, it would have been so awesome if I had said, well, did you learn your lesson? Like that. But I didn't. I only thought about that after the fact. You know, it's one of those things where I was in the shower and I thought about it and I didn't. Anyway, so she sprints out of the house. Now, all of a sudden, this is an emergency. And I'm like, there's a very, very, very easy way to prevent this from happening. You realize that, right? I didn't say that. That was another thing that I thought of after the fact. But she sprints out the house and she starts screaming like a crazy person. She starts screaming like she is being stabbed. She's screaming the cat's name. All the neighbors, of course, are like, what's going on? You know, looking at this screaming woman. And they're like, help, grab my cat! That's what she's saying to all the neighbors. Help, grab my cat, all this stuff. And everybody springs into action, you know. And they get him back and she brings him back inside. So I thought, okay, brain fart. Everybody has those days, you know, fine. I keep feeling like this is a little bit of a revealing tank top. Sorry, it's hot. Sorry. So I thought that, you know, okay, brain fart, isolated incident. The next day, the exact same thing happens. And of course, I'm like, oh my God, you left the door. You know, she doesn't even notice. And she opened the door, walked in, set her stuff down. And I'm looking at the cat because I know it wants to go outside. And I'm like, are you going to, I didn't say this either. This was another thing that I thought, you know, so I'm really bad about in the moment saying the right thing, you know, especially when there's another person involved. I sort of give myself stage fright. Sorry I'm burping so much, by the way. A lot of people have a big problem with that. A lot of people have a big problem with the fact that I'm a human being and I have human being bodily functions. A lot of people have a problem with the fact that I don't have perfect teeth and I don't have a perfect hairline and I don't have a perfect this and a perfect that and a perfect that. Because for some reason, they hold people that they see on their screen to a higher standard than they hold themselves. Well, I don't give a shit. I am never going to get plastic surgery. I'm never going to fix anything with my body, no matter how famous I get, because I want to show you people, this is what a normal person looks like. Here he is. Anyway, sorry, soapbox moment. I'm trying to have less of those. So, the cat runs out of the house and I immediately follow after him. And that time I scoop him up and I bring him back in because I caught it right away. And I said, you left the door open again and the cat walked out just like yesterday. So maybe you should shut the door. I didn't say it like that. I said it very nice, you know, because I'm trying to not cause a problem. And she said, oh, you're right. He always runs right out. He always slips out, you know, like she couldn't help it. I mean, no, he doesn't. He saunters out without a care in the world. Because the door is wide open for 60 full seconds, 60 to 90 seconds. And it continues to happen. We've only been dating for about a week. So now you can see how often I go over there every day, and I'd say it happens at least once a day. Sometimes it happens multiple times a day. It got to the point where I started closing the door after her because I was like, this is crazy. What's going on? You are crazy, irresponsible. I didn't say that either. I should start saying that. I should start saying that stuff. So I eventually get annoyed. I get annoyed with having to get up all the time and fix her mess. And I start to notice this about her, which is that she never learned to be responsible. She never learned to take care of herself and her things because everybody always helped her. Everybody always took care of it for her. You know, when the cat goes outside, I help her. The neighbors help her. When she can't pay rent, she calls her daddy. And she says, Daddy, I need help. You know, and then, of course, he always helps her. And so she will never learn. When I was telling her, you need to be responsible with your cat because it's your cat. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. You know, in her perspective, I'm just some prick. So I can, you know, it's not sinking in. That's one thing that will save you a lot of headache if you realize about people. If you try to give them advice and you try to tell them the way that objectively they should be living their lives and the way to do objectively the correct thing, they're not going to care. It's going to go completely in one ear and out the other, because people's horses buck at that. Their horses start to buck when you try to tell them how to live their life. Even if you're right, they'll just go into defensive mode and they'll say, well, who's he to tell me how to live my life? And then the years go by and they learn through their experiences that point was right, and they change their behavior, but only because they come up with the idea themselves. So instead of telling people, you have to sort of incept them. You have to plant the idea in their head so that they'll think it was their idea, and they'll learn that lesson themselves. So I started thinking about how I could basically incept my girlfriend to be more responsible. And I said, well, it's probably going to be pretty easy, because at first I sort of thought about it and I was like, it's like this would be funny if I did this. What a funny, horrible, evil thing to do. But the more I started to think about it, the more I was like, hold, please. This is actually a very, very good idea. So I said, so I just had to wait until the next time that she walked in the house, because like I said, she does it every single time. So she came in the house, had her earbuds in. Are they called earbuds? AirPods. Airbud is the movie with the dog who plays soccer. I actually lost my virginity to that movie, if you can believe that. That's a true story. Got distracted by earbuds. Check this out. I got this. It's called Yulmust. There's this really fancy soda store in LA that only sells soda. It's on EU Figueroa in Eagle Rock, probably more Highland Park. But they sell all old sodas that they can't sell in the US normally because of the monopoly that Pepsi and Coke have on. They have the convenience stores balls in a vice. So the only sodas you're ever going to see are Pepsi, Coke. That's it. So they have from all over the world, all sorts of artisanal sodas. So the Yulmust is very, very good. It's kind of like Coke with a splash of spice. See, it says that there. And I'm happy to advertise for them because, this is probably just some old fuck in his basement. So, anyway, Airbud. Okay, so I just had to wait until the next time that she walked in the house. But I also had to be kind of careful. She opened the door, walked in the house, and I saw the cat start to mosey out the door. So she had her AirPods in, and she was AirPods. Well, I shouldn't say AirPods because I don't want to advertise for Apple. Earbuds. That's it. And she's over here in the kitchen, and I'm over here. I, real quick, scoop the cat up, and I run out to my car, and I toss the cat in the trunk, and I shut the trunk. It was not as hot as it was today. Obviously, I'm not stupid. It was only going to be for a few minutes until I could figure out, the next step here. So does not notice for a very, very long time. I shut the door, and I think that because I shut the door when I came back in, she assumed that I had taking care of her again and cleaned up her mess for her. So I shut the door, and she's probably like, oh, he took care of it like he always does. My servant, my butler, took care of it. And I sit down and I go back on my laptop and keep watching TV. She comes and sits down next to me, and this is normally when the cat would, doot right up into her lap, but he's not there, so of course he's not going to do that. So now she starts panicking, and she's like, "Where's Bing Bong?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I was on my computer. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry." A lie. And she's like, "Oh my God!" And she starts panicking, and she's like, "Did he go out of the apartment? Did he walk out the door?" And I said, "I don't know. I was busy. I would have assumed that you would have taken care of it when you walked in." She runs out of the house, screaming like a wild, crazy banshee. Where's Bing Bong? Where's Bing Bong? Bing Bong, calling out for Bing Bong. And I seize my opportunity now to go into my car, and I live very, very close. I live about 2 minutes away. So I zip over to my house, and I bring the cat into my apartment, and I put the cat in the closet. And then I go back in my car, drive back over to her house. And I sort of, I try to find her, weaving through the streets, and I say, oh, I was looking over by here, I couldn't find him. And now she's crying, and she's like, oh my God, oh, Bing Bong, and I feel a little bad because I couldn't help but sort of be a little smug. Well, I guess I didn't feel that bad because she kind of deserved this, right? I mean, that's my whole point. Not that she deserved it, but just that this is what happens when you are not responsible. This is what happens when you don't take care of your stuff and when you rely on other people to do it for you. This is the real world, sweetheart. Sorry. Your tits aren't going to save you from everything. I got to be careful. I forgot I had my windows open. Hi. No, I'm fine. Don't worry. I'm fine. There's nobody there. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Forgot again what I was talking about. Okay. So I started to feel a little bad because, I just sort of, I was a little smug, and I said, well, I can't find him. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I had made something up, some commitment that I had. But I'll come back over later tonight, and I'm sure you'll find him by then, and I'll come back later. So I went home. Because remember, we've only really been dating for a week or so. I guess a little longer because there was some overlap with Becca and her a little bit. That's a whole different video. But I said, yeah, I'll be back later. Bye. And I left. And she's kept texting me, I can't find him, I can't find him, I can't find him. And I was like, oh no, that's so sad, I'm so sorry, and I would come over and came back over later that night, and she was typing furiously, printing out all sorts of missing cat posters and hanging them up I helped her hang them up all over the phone poles. And I said, well, why don't we just, leave out a trap. I have a trap that I use to trap raccoons and things because that interests me. I like to just sit the trap out overnight and see what I get the next morning. I put a little peanut butter in it. And I've gotten some interesting stuff. I got a possum. I actually got one of my neighbor's cats once, which was crazy. But I figured I'll bring my trap over, and we'll take care of this. You can put some wet food in it, and the cat will come right in the trap. And I figured that night I'll come over when she's asleep, and I'll put the cat in the trap, and I'll say, there, boy, and then the trap will close, and it'll be like he came back. And that way I get to have my cake and eat it too, because she learns her lesson, and I got to be the hero that saved the day because my idea saved the day, right? That was originally what my plan was going to be. Then she started getting pissy with me because I wasn't watching him. She was like, why weren't you watching him? You would have seen him go out the door. But you were just sitting there on your laptop, absorbed in your YouTube, not thinking about anything else that was going on. You weren't thinking about me, you were thinking about yourself, like always. And I said, absolutely not. How many times do we got in a very loud argument over this. I said, how many times I gotta tell you I don't think I said it like that. I'm a pretty nice guy, so I try not to be abrasive, and I try not to, you know, but I did get my point across, I hope, in as many words that, you know what? Try to do it again. It's getting hot in here. Oh God. Ugh. Oh, this is good. Oh, that's so good. That's so nice. I think I'm just gonna keep this in my car and do this while I'm driving. That's a great idea. I honestly didn't think it would work this well. This is very nice. Gotta get it on my arms. So since we had that argument, I decided, you know what? No, screw you. Not tonight. We'll give it another day, you know? And I guess I've always sort of wondered, I don't think that I am a serial killer, but sometimes I do have moments where I'm kind of like, because something about how upset she was, and knowing that it's because of, or knowing that I'm sort of puppeteering the situation. I don't know what it is. It's not, I would not describe it as like being turned on necessarily, but there's a sort of satisfaction in it, you know? It's kind of like ASMR. ASMR is not sexual, but it's a good feeling. And I know that's probably wrong of me to say, but it feels, it's just, so like the longer it was going, the longer that, the more, I don't know, it's been interesting. And the cat's in the trunk right now, so I've sort of, you know, it's been about 3 days now, I think. And I'm sort of debating what to do. I'm honestly thinking, because I also started, I don't know why I ran my mouth over and over again, but I started saying, well, if the cat doesn't come back after a couple days, then it's probably never coming back, you know, because there's a certain, it's like that 48 hours when a kid goes missing, you know, if the kid doesn't come back within that amount of time, they're probably dead, right? So I sort of said all that, and now I sort of feel like I should make that happen, you know? Because she's talked a couple times about how she would not really care if the cat died. She sort of, we were talking, you know, she was like, oh, I used to live on a farm, and we had all sorts of animals, and sometimes they would die and it was no big deal. So I was like, okay. I'm not saying I'm going to kill the cat. I'm just thinking that maybe I can donate it to a shelter or something. I don't know. I'm still thinking about what to do, because I just don't think that she is going to learn her lesson. This is what stopped me from returning the cat in some way, because then I'm fixing the situation again. And she's not going to learn her lesson unless the situation does not get fixed. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I think I think this will ultimately be good for her. Really. I think that there, somewhere down the line in her life, there's going to be another cat or a dog or a person or a kid. You know, who's to say that me doing this right now is not saving her future child's life? Maybe now when her future child goes to crawl in the oven or whatever, she's going to say, oh, I don't want what happened to Nibbles to happen to, you know, Baxter. I don't know. My point is that I think that this will ultimately be good for her. So, you doing okay back there? Okay. Bye-bye.